Hi everyone, by the names of Timmy. Timmy are my good names, and I'm here to share about the challenges I went through as an LGBT person. The challenges came through when COVID came in. By then I was staying with some friends. We were renting some house. Then the COVID came in, lockdown came in. Um, we faced a lot of problems. We could not access rent, food, and all that. So the owner of the place whom we were staying with, a friend, evicted us from the house and told us to leave. He couldn't accommodate us anymore, so he told us to leave, like go and get where to stay. So it was not easy. I had to look, got friends there and then to look for where to stay by that time. Not until I got a friend who introduced me to Adonai International Ministries, led by Pastor Ram. So that's when like they came in for my rescue and gave me a shelter.
Hello, my name is Christine Atukunda. My pronouns she, her, and I identify as a lesbian. I'm a feminine lesbian. Growing up in a society that is patriarchal and where sexuality is believed to be non-binary, coming out was not very easy for me. I remember one time my dad taking me to police and being beaten very, very heavily. That was like the beginning of like my journey of me coming out.
My experience in the shelter was just fair. My experience was fair. It was kind of fun. Like under Adonai, it was fun. I was appointed a mobilizer at Adonai. I learned how to pray. We started ministering with the pastor Ram. Well, in the shelter, it was fun. We could minister. I was given a position in Adonai as a mobilizer. I was once a programmer, the worship team, and all that stuff.
It wasn't very easy, and I lost friends. My relationship with my family got a bit tricky. Like after me like coming out, I remember having to tolerate corrective counseling. I was once taken to a pastor to be prayed for. So basically, the journey is not very easy, but yeah, we keep going.
Greetings, everyone from Uganda. This is Mosha Stephanie speaking, an out and proud transgender woman. I happen to be the administrator as well as the secretary of the church, an LGBTQ-based church, which happens to be Adonai Inclusive Christian Ministries. Basically, Mosha is, I can say I personally am amazing. Basically, when it really comes to my sexuality and who I am, I'm different because we're really not the same. I happen to be a transgender woman, and I find it something that is beautiful.
Hello, hi everyone. I am Kalunji Gabriela Kioma, a transgender woman in Uganda. I'm 23 years old, and I'm a she. I realized that I'm a transgender woman in the year 2020. 2020 in the lockdown. That's when I came out openly, because it had been a very strong struggle for me to express my own self, my real self, in the public or in the people I live with. And this really came with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of homophobia responses, transphobia responses, because our culture, it gets a bit tough, it gets a bit confusing for the parents, for the siblings, for the friends to take in that the person they knew as someone else is literally someone else.
For us here in Uganda, it is not basically a piece of cake being what you are. Basically, what happens in Uganda, what we know in Uganda is all about. We don't know basically about sexuality. We only know about the heterosexuals and the straight people. Basically in Uganda, sexuality is not went into details. So it is really hard, hectic, and challenging. and we've really had very, very bad experiences in that, trying to own our souls, trying to be us, like embracing your sexuality and fighting for your rights outside there. It is really something that is very challenging, very, very challenging.
As Adonai in Inclusive Christian Ministries, it has different programs that they render to the community, the LGBTIQ community. They give shelter in case you need one. They give healthy services. They give spiritual services, like they render prayers. They counsel you where need be so that you be on track. You know, this whole process comes with a lot of trauma, comes with a lot of depression. But when I joined Adonai, because I remember a time I tried to take my life. Yes. And unfortunately this happened when I was already in ministry. But the very best part that I like about it is, if I wasn't with Adonai, I would be dead by now. But they took me through all that process, the treatment, the therapy. My pastors were around me, my family, my children, because I'm a mother still. I forgot to say that in my introduction. I mother people in the community. I stand in as a mother because the Spirit told me to mother those that need to be mothered.
I wish there were like grants that provide for like higher education for like LGBT persons who are interested in going to school. For example, me myself, I'm very interested in like in getting my law degree. I would even love to get a master's degree and probably a PhD, but I do not have resources. I cannot afford it, and I just wish there were grants that could provide for that, because I feel like it would be very helpful. I know society has this mentality about LGBT persons, not like being very lazy people who don't want to work, people don't want to study. But look at me, like I'm very interested in working. I mean, right now I have a job. I'm working very hard, and I would love to go back to school. I'm trying to like make savings to be able to afford my tuition. So I feel like if there was a provision for that, it would be helpful to persons like me myself.
With Adonai, we have programs that are economically empowering the community with different skills, because unfortunately we find a challenge that most of our community members are dropouts. Things go wrong in the course of the journey and they literally do not finish school. So we bring these programs to train them with different skills. Like for instance, we have the bookmaking project. Like we train the community members that we have that are affiliated by Adonai, and we train them how to make books, notebooks, and stationery work, so that they can be helped even in the future. We have programs like liquid soap making. We do crafts and design. We do a lot of programs that can empower someone and be financially okay.
We've also done baking classes, cooking classes, really trying to see to it that people in the shelters are not just there to sit or even have a comfort zone.
Jitavits are my beautiful names. I'm a proud trans man living in Uganda, Kampala. I work with Adonai, Inclusive Christian Ministries, as a mobilizer. I first identified myself as a lesbian before knowing what being a trans man is, until I looked up in a dictionary and found the definition of a transgender man. And that's what I realized I am. I'm never attracted to men on record.
I'm by names of Apo Jonathan. Ndi muna Uganda, mbeera Kampala, and I'm a trans woman. Okusoomozebwa nga ze trans woman, okusoomozebwa nsanga kungi nnyo, naddala oyinza okuba ng'otambula mu kkubo n'ofuna abakusoomooza ne bakuyeeyayeeya biki, oyo muwala mulenzi, ne bakuyita, olumu oyinza n'okusanga abasobola okukukuba ne bakuba ate nga tolina muntu yenna gw'otambule naye ng'oli bw'omu.
In a country like Uganda, of course it wasn't easy coming out as a transgender man, because we as transgender men face the most hard challenges. We are denied medical services as transgender men. By the was it this week? Early this week, I was arrested for my identity. this week because I identify myself as a transgender man. They didn't understand what I even mean. So it's really hard to live in Uganda as a transgender man. I'm finding it hard to access medication, jobs. I can't get a job. I've tried several jobs. By the time they find out you're a trans man, you're fired. Jobs, reaching an extent of me going to the diaspora to work and being deported for being a transgender man. So it's not easy living in African community being a trans. It's really hard.
It was a wedding. It was my wedding. Nakolo omukolo. Yeah, like it was in Nansana. So waliwo ba trans woman nga bangi nnyo. Bonna bage nga bonna weebali. So I don't know nga n'omukolo tegunnaba kutandika. Police nejja. By the way balina b'amagye. Ne bajja ng'emmotoka mpitirivu. Ne batugamba neno waliwo ki ne tubagamba waliwo birthday. Nga n'abako bakatuuka we bati. Ne batugamba mulimba nga bo balaga kye bazzeeko bakimanyi. Ne batukwata ne batuyingiza mu gundi mu motoka zaabwe. Baleeta nnyingi kuba baleeterako n'ez'obuyonjo. Abaana badduka ne badduka. By that time awo nga poliisi yakajja jjukira baba bakuba. Yeah. So police nejja netutwala netuyingiza mu gundi nga buli we tuyita mu bantu ne batukuba awo anti obitegere ebibeera awo babakuba ne batukuba abala ne batukuba jukira mbeera mutadde twali tutaddeko enjala olwo olunaku ate enjala kukinta na police ezo zijjeko so byali bingi nnyo twayitamu ababuuka ne babuuka ne bagwa ne bamenyeka so ffe ne batutwala ku police.
First and foremost, I thank Adonai Inclusive Ministries. I thank God that I found Adonai. Personally, I'm a Christian. I'm born in a Christian family, but because of segregation and discrimination for my gender, I had stopped going to church. I had stopped believing. At a time, I thought God does not exist until I found Adonai. The first time I came to Adonai, I felt very, very free. I felt like I was home. I felt that I could just be me in a place that I am recognized, in a place I'm appreciated, not questioned, not asked why I'm dressed the way I'm dressing, why I am what I am. So I thank God and I feel so comfortable being in Adonai because it's home. It became home to me.
Nze ndige naye tekyamala mmanya ate ku lwa nsonga nkyagala ate sirabyemu nnyo kibi. Yeah. Ate nebaza nnyo Adonai mostly. Adonai ennyambye nnyo embeereddewo cause n'ab'ekika abaali bankoowa bonna abamu Adonai ye embeereddewo lwadde abamu mu kika kyange sobola balabako naye the good thing my mom loves me.
This is Pastor Ramgava from Uganda, the only black and African gay pastor, and proudly, openly gay. Yeah, it's who I am. I don't question that. I pastor at Adonai Inclusive Christian Ministries. It's an LGBTQ church. And what we look at is welcoming the LGBTQ community and also affirming them. You know, there is welcoming and affirming. Not everyone who welcomes you affirms you. It's just like not everyone who loves you loves you. There are people that love you, but they pity you. So I don't know whether you know those differences. Someone can love you to pity you. And so for us, we're a church that we don't pity the LGBT community, but we believe in the ability, we believe in the existence, we believe in the rights, we believe in the LGBT, so we are openly an LGBTQ ministry in Uganda and serving the whole Africa, where homosexuality has been discussed as a very terrible topic. Everyone talking about homosexuality and pushing it away. No, it can't be African. Like we always had this, people saying in Africa, it's really not African for you to be an LGBTQ, until people like me came out and said, we are black, we are African, and we are gays. Come here. We also know God, we also love God, we also serve God.
This is actually the programs director in Adonai. Yeah, and to give you something about Adonai Ministries is that we focus on different aspects of life in regard to mainly the LGBTQ plus persons in Uganda. And we get to see that the difficulties within Uganda's setup. This is mainly because generally by the worldwide, not only in Uganda, but in Africa at large, there is a xenophobia, there is a general perspective that LGBT are criticized using different schools of theory, and they consider it outrageous, they look at it as an abomination in the setup. So we've come to see that we break those chains, we change the mindset of these people, the way they perceive LGBT community, because believe me if I met you somewhere there, I'm going to look at you as human. I'm not going to know what you're capable of. I'm not going to get to know whether you're a lawyer, whether you're counsel, whether you're a sex offender, whether you're a criminal or ex-convict. So there is need to say that people at large get to acknowledge that at the end of the day, regardless of our differences, we are human, all of us.
Basically, in this position, being the church and being the church secretary, it has not really been very, very easy, because not in every space you can really come out. So you can really come out and speak about your own self. It is really so bad, and they really take you like as a very, very bad person. So it is challenging. We've faced insults, discrimination, mob justice. A lot of our community members are beaten every now and then.
I urge everyone, you want to be happy, you want to be who you are, mind where you are. Safety first, security starts with you. This is Africa. We've lost many friends, so security starts with you.
We're here to save lives. And if you also love to save lives like we do, just come on, support us, fund the projects that we are having, many projects that we are having, but come support them and let us move on.